Right, well, good morning. Another Saturday, as always, and we're already doing the summary of week 5 that makes us nearly halfway. It's amazing how quickly time goes by. And I sent you a photo of a tree, and when I saw it, I said, that's a bit how I feel when you're letting go of the old, and this new tree is growing through, and it feels awkward, yeah, in many ways. So this week, I'm starting with this. It's a short story about a tree, about a seed, which I think is really beautiful. And it says, within us, countless dreams wait for their time to germinate, produce roots, and give birth, and die like seeds to become trees. And in the silence of my reflection, I perceive my entire inner world as if I were a seed, somehow small and insignificant, but also full of potentialities. And I see in its essence the potential of a magnificent tree, the tree of my own life and development. And in its smallest, each seed contains the spirit of the tree that it will be later. Every seed knows how to become a tree, falling on fertile ground, absorbing the juices that feed it, expanding its branches and foliage, and filling with flowers and fruits to be able to give what it has to give. And every seed knows how to become a tree. And so many are the seeds of our secret dreams. Within us, countless dreams wait for their time to germinate, produce roots, and give birth, die like seeds to become trees. Magnificent and proud trees that in turn tell us in their firmness that we listen to our inner voice, that we listen to the wisdom of our own seed dreams. They, the dreams, show the way with symbols and signs of all kinds in every event and every moment, between things and between people, in pain and in pleasure, in triumphs and in failures. That dream teaches us, asleep or awake, to see ourselves, to listen to ourselves, to realize, show us the way in elusive intuitions or in flashes of blinding lucidity. And so we grow, we develop, we evolve, and one day while we travel this eternal present that we call life, the seeds of our dream will transform into trees, and they will unfold their branches like gigantic wings, will cross the sky, joining in a single stroke our past and our future. And there is nothing to fear. An inner wisdom accompanies them because every seed knows how to become a tree. And I think that's really beautiful, yeah? And believing those seeds of our dreams, knowing that it will become a tree. So I had given you the optional homework of drinking a glass of water before going to bed and visualizing yourself in that future that you want. And in a way, it's like connecting you to that tree that you will be. And it's a very beautiful exercise. And I'm going to give a little bit of a summary of things we have seen so far. Last week, I mentioned the untethered soul. And again, I'm going to say, because I've been repeating it to myself all week, when things go on, it's like, I am the problem. The moment in front of you is not bothering you, you are bothering yourself about the moment to let go, to surrender. I've been repeating it constantly. And another phrase from last week, which is so beautiful from Rumi, that says, it is not for you to seek love. It is for you to seek and remove the blockages you put in her way. So we are love in essence, but our fears and our thoughts have put that blockage, and it's just to get it out of the way. So I love this image, right? So if the brain and the universe are the same, we are one. This is what we are, yeah? Brain and the universe are the same. So what separates the brain and the universe are thoughts, are fears. So the more we go within, the more we trust, the more we connect, the more we get closer to the universe, to our dreams, to that infinite potential of possibilities that can happen. Why? That's why going within is so important. right? So we've been talking how we've been for, in a comfort zone, stuck in a comfort zone, in an uncomfortable comfort zone. We're going into the magic and how we are crossing this river, right? And how when we cross this river, it just feels awkward. Sometimes we're okay, sometimes we're not okay, but we're changing and we're not used to the change. And the body, like a robot, wants things to be the way they were. Even if it wasn't nice, it was familiar. So going into this unknown to where the magic is, we need to go through this river. And this is what we've been doing in the course. And I'm also doing the course with you. I'm also doing the pages. And in particular, this week, it's been hard to do the morning pages. It's been hard to meditate. So it's normal and like leaving the homework for the last few days. But it's okay. The important thing is to continue, even if you just suddenly do one page. And if you leave your homework to the last day, but the important thing is to continue, because during the middle of the course, there's like this resistance not to continue. So we want to solve things always the same, but when we let go and turn the light on, the infinite possibilities. So momentarily, we have synchronicities. Momentarily, we have moments of entering the whole library. Sometimes it frightens us a bit, so we go back into the uncomfortable. And it's like a dance, but gradually we're going through that river to where the magic is. We spoke about brain waves. Delta, you're sleeping. Theta, when you just wake up. When you get up in the morning, when you just go to bed. That's why at this time, when you go to bed, I want you to drink the glass of water, because we're highly suggestible. Our thoughts when we go to bed and our thoughts when we go in the morning are really important and will be essential during our day. That's why doing the morning pages, when you're in theta and alpha, will help get out those thoughts that you no longer need to connect to what you do. So in your morning, today is the best day of my life. Today, everything flows. Today, money comes to me constantly. Whatever you write, you're starting to manifest. So talking about brain waves, we are now in beta, but then we talked about high beta when you're stressed. The morning pages are essential. Please do not stop. Spelling mistake. Do not stop doing the morning pages. Even if you do half a page, even if you do one page, be nice to yourself. But there is resistance to doing it, especially when there is change. But just do the effort to continue doing them. Even if you write a page, I don't know what to write, I don't know what to write, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, try and do those 3 pages. We spoke of how from when you're in the womb to when you're 6, we have all these programs, right? Programs from society, from our parents, which make the way we are, which come to do with our thoughts and our beliefs, but they become limiting beliefs. So starting to realize them with the morning pages, we can change, because it's how we see life. Yeah? Someone will see it one way, someone will see it another way, but we have our own color of lens through which we see things. So we will decide if we want to continue with things or not. But it's like getting to know ourselves and not judging ourselves, because we want to start noticing things that we don't like. We have all these experiences we have lived and they cause us fear. So suddenly doing a certain thing that you got told off when you were younger, well, you'll avoid doing it. Yeah. And how we start falling into so many patterns. How there's so many triggers, and it's not right to get angry, so you hold things, and it's letting them go, and it's okay, and it's to let those things go. We've seen anger from a different point of view, of triggering us, of being the messenger. So what things do trigger us, so what should we be doing? This inner voice that we always have, we are our worst judge, right? And it's true. Yeah, we're like the worst person to ourselves, and we talk to ourselves like nobody else talks to us. Yeah. So the morning pages helps us identify these voices. And Michael Singer said, if that voice had a body and you have that person sitting next to you, so you put that voice here, say, oh, I'm going to go to the beach. Oh no, you're too tired, don't go now. Oh, oh no, really, it's okay, better finish, but if you had that voice as a person next to you, it would be horrible having that person next to you. And that's just you and your own voice. So letting go of that voice, noticing that voice, that's why morning pages are so important. We spoke about fight or flight. And when we get stressed, our hormones go to our arms and to our legs, and we breathe differently. We go, what's going on? I don't want to do. When we get stressed, we don't circulate the same, the body doesn't work the same, the immune system goes down when we enter these modes. We spoke about happy hormones, and if putting cream on your skin takes away the dryness, what happy hormones take away the depression and the anxiety. And what happens when you're depressed, you don't feel like meditating. You don't feel like doing your morning page. You don't feel like going for a walk by the beach. You don't feel like, but yet there's the cure. And it's important to do them. And in this journey, we're learning to be happy. We're learning to do things that we like doing, and such simple things like blowing bubbles. In fact, I invite you all to go and have an inner child experience and get bubbles and just go and play with bubbles. Yeah? Because what we're doing is this inner child in us, whom we have repressed, yeah, we're allowing this child to come out and play. And we're going to give this child permission to be happy. And it's learning to love ourselves, yeah, and surrounding us with people who support us in our dreams. Anita Moorjani, I had mentioned before in her book, Dying to Be Me, she says, live life fearlessly. For me, this was so powerful, like live life fearlessly. We have fear of so many things. How am I going to pay the rent next month? How am I going to do this? How am I going to do that? How would it be if we lived life fearlessly? Yeah? Loving yourself, smiling more. Life is a gift. Yeah, like I said last time, right? Imagine you wake up every day to the gift of life and always be you. And this was something in me that I would always not be me to please people. Yeah, so oh, I want to go here, you want to go there, oh, sure. So, but it's like I didn't even know who I was because I was always pleasing others, right? So always be you and just love yourself for being you. And what we're doing is we're filling up our tank with love towards ourselves. And when you really have love towards yourself, then you can love other people as well, yeah, from source. So the present moment is a present. It's a gift. Yeah? And I'm saying this again as I said it last time. So each morning when you wake up, oh, there's a gift. Let me open up this gift. And this gift, oh, what does today have for me? And how am I going to color this day? Because in the end, it's always your choice, right? So when we talk about the mind and the heart and the balance between mind and heart, have you ever realized that you've never ever heard of someone with cancer in the heart? I find that fascinating, right? How come you can get cancer anywhere but not in your heart, right? So it's learning to listen to our heart. So many times our mind says, no, Carmen, don't do that. That's not right. This is this. But your heart says, just do it. And I really believe intuition is in our heart and to go for it. Yeah. So, so here with our mind, let me just go back. With our mind, we sabotage ourselves. Yeah. So we're listening to what we're thinking, we're learning to observe it, and what we're learning to do is to balance with our heart. Okay. So Joe Dispenza, whom you know I'm a great fan of, he says the brain thinks, but the heart knows. Isn't that beautiful? The brain thinks, but the heart knows. Right? Trust your heart, yeah? Because the brain is full of, oh, that's not right, girls shouldn't do this, and whatever. What does your heart say? And believe and trust your heart. Yeah? So he wrote this beautiful book called Becoming Supernatural. And you know, he says about the present moment, all possibilities exist in the quantum field. Yeah. So that's why the other exercise of drinking the glass of water before you go to bed, it's called the double quantic or quantic double. I don't know the correct way of saying it. And so when you have a clear intention and elevated emotion, you're creating that space in the quantum field. Yeah? Drinking the glass of water is a way of doing it. And Joe Dispenza says this way of just connect, but put a clear intention. Yeah. So if your objective is to sell a lot of books, and I say, okay, that's like, I want to go driving to New York, right? So your objective is New York. My objective is selling a lot of books. So I'm going to go today, I'm going to drive the car. I want to go to New York by car. And then I get along and I get a flat tire. Then I drop by and visit so-and-so and it's his birthday. So I spend 2 days celebrating the birthday. So maybe I thought to be able to get New York was going to be 4 days driving. Yeah, I've got no idea, but just 4 days driving. But then different things happened on the way. But as long as you always have your goal of going to New York, you know you're going to get to New York. Maybe it's not 4 days. Maybe you end up taking a month in getting there. But to stay with that clear intention and elevated emotion that you're going to New York, you know you're going to get to New York. Just getting there, some things might happen. You might get a flat tire. Maybe you get to the frontier and there's a war. So you have to take a flight. Yeah. So as long as you have that clear intention with an elevated emotion, yeah, connecting your heart to that intention. So my intention is selling more books. So maybe certain things happen and I take a bit longer. As long as you stay with that intention, you're going to get there. Yeah. But holding on. So sometimes we suddenly doubt, what happens if I don't sell the books? Or you've had a bad day because the car had the flat tire, or you got and there was a front, the wall was there, so you can't use a car anymore. You have to go by plane. So all these things that pop up, it's trusting and keep holding on to that clear intention and the elevated emotion. So sometimes things aren't as quick as expected, or people don't respond to something you've done as quickly, but just trust in the process and keep your mind, clear intention, elevated emotion to what you want. So focus on the unknown. You get the known. It says focus on the known, you get the known. Focus on the unknown and you get a possibility, infinite possibilities, right? Stop feeling or thinking the same way. Put your attention on the energy of possibility. So this is what we're doing. We're entering the quantum unified field where all possibilities exist. The infinite unknown possibilities exist as energy. We exist as an awareness, as a consciousness. That's why meditation going within is so important. Pay attention to the energy of the quantum frequencies, not the feelings. So there was this test that was done, which he talks about in the book. So there were some chickens that were just born, and there was a robot, and it had like a candle to keep it warm. So this robot was just had some wheels, and it was programmed to be in this box and cover all the area of the box. It would move around until it covered every single centimeter of that box, right? So when the chickens were born, they put the chickens into the box with that robot that had a candle, which was warm. So the chicks thought that it was their mum. So wherever the robot went, covering all the corners, the chickens would follow, right? So then they took the chickens away, left the robot alone, but they had the chickens looking at the robot, yeah? So obviously the chickens, they thought it was their mom and they wanted to be with their mom and they wanted the robot, to be with them. But the robot was programmed to cover all the areas. And what was fascinating was this result. And the robot did not cover all the areas of the box. It stayed close to where the chickens were. So the force of the chicken wanting to be near affected the robot. Now, this is a fascinating study. Yeah. I mean, the chicks transformed a robot. Yeah. Imagine what we are capable of doing when we really put our intention and heart into whatever we do. Yeah? Nothing is impossible, as Katharine Hepburn says. So imagine the intention of your future. Yeah, everything is possible, and it's to believe that everything is possible. I even had dinner one day with Joe Dispenza, the most bizarre way ever. Yeah. So we break ties with our old ideas about ourselves, and we discover that our emerging self can enjoy all kinds of unusual adventures, not to mention that maybe door to magic and mystery is going to be open. Yeah. So one day I'll show you that story of how I ended up having dinner with Joe Dispenza. So this week we're working on recovering a sense of possibility. Okay. So we have been feeling stuck many times, yeah. We try to do something and it's like moving this wheel and it's so stiff. So yeah, I'm trying to change. And then we go back to how we were before, but we're pushing it and we're crossing that river, but it's stiff. It's like a stuck wheel. So gradually we're advancing. And in this chapter, she talks about God, source, whatever you want to call it, according to your own beliefs. Remember that God is your source, and we are in the spiritual position of having an unlimited bank account. Okay, so if we are connected to God and we are part of God, it's infinite. Why don't we believe it? Why don't we have that unlimited bank account? We unconsciously get a limit on how much God can give us or help us. So in this chapter, we start looking at how we have seen God. And I said, oh, other people need him much more than me. I can cope, I'm okay. Until I changed my beliefs regarding this. So clear away the wreckage of our negative patterning. Yeah? And Aileen Cady says, expect your every need to be met. Expect the answer to every problem. Expect abundance on every level. Expect to grow spiritually. That was really beautiful. So it's to believe it and to expect it. Because if you don't believe it, well, it's not going to happen. Yeah? So there are changes. Now, isn't this lovely what I put here for you? Yeah, sometimes I do an effort to find really lovely things for you. So as this flower opens, yeah, so step by step, slowly but surely, true to ourselves, open to the positive. And it's a process, yeah? Because we've been in the negative for a long time. Relationship with others, we judge ourselves less, we observe each other, we listen to our inner child, we begin to treat ourselves with more kindness. This new positive attitude, it is the principle of trust. So we're going slowly, yeah? One by one, and then suddenly we have a bad day, and it's okay. But we're starting to have more good days, and that is what is important. Okay. So this video, I'm going to send you the complete video. But Greg Braden says, there's a drop of water, and it has a vibration, and it forms a mandala. It forms a sacred design, right? So when that you increase the energy, the mandala becomes more sophisticated, more complicated. The higher the energy, the more complicated or advanced the shape, the sacred geometry of that mandala, right? So there's one size of a cell, and of the drop of water has a one shape, and then it grows to a more sophisticated one, and then a more sophisticated one. But for this to change to the next shape, there's chaos. There's no way you can change from here to this design if there's not a chaos before, right? So when I saw this video, I understood the chaos, because I work on so many things. How come I'm feeling this? Or how come I'm still going through these different emotions or these different things? And this just made so much sense. I'll be sending you the complete video, but I wanted to share it with you here.
Resonance, the entire pattern morphed into a more complex expression of itself, simply because the frequency changed. Now watch what happens. The frequency is still increasing. And watch what happens. As we reach another key threshold resonance, this entire pattern will morph into a beautifully and more complex pattern of itself.
So again, you have a more complex one.
And again.
Chaos.
Look at this pattern right here. Look what you're seeing right here.
Enters another one.
Look at the beautiful geometry. Here is a perfect cube. There's a perfect tetrahedron, a star tetrahedron. In 2 dimensions, we've got the octahedron. Very powerful images of sacred geometry held in place simply because
chaos.
We've achieved the vibratory pattern that
even
allows
the chaos
that
is beautiful.
in this water droplet.
Look at that chaos before entering another design.
And as the vibration increases, these patterns will become more and more complex. You can see the pulse from where you are. Can you see the pulse actually in the water? As we go into the last set of the frequencies, what you'll see is that the entire, you'll watch along the outer perimeter, the entire pattern reaches its greatest level of complexity, and then it goes back, as the frequencies drop, it goes back to what it was, the concentric circles, as it was originally. It almost looks alive. You know,
there we go.
You've been offered many times the concept that thought is vibration. Have you ever considered that emotion is vibration? Feeling is vibration. We are always feeling something. We're always emoting something. We may not always be aware of what that is. We carry those patterns with us.
Right. So
Resonance.
I wanted you to see that, because from this shape, we're going to a more sophisticated shape, but there's chaos in between. Yeah. And when I saw that, I said, wow, that's beautiful. Yeah. Because of course you can't go from one state to another, exact the same position where you are, which is what Einstein says that we spoke about a few weeks ago. Yeah. So understanding that what seems chaos isn't, it's a change, because you're changing. And as you change, well, it feels uncomfortable. And this, I sent you this photo in the morning. I wanted you to have it. Because when I saw this photo, I didn't take it, but when I saw it, I said, wow, it's exactly that. Yeah. So like this new you is coming out. You're letting go of a way you've always been. Yeah. Of a way which was normal. And sometimes you want to go back to how it was before, but this new you is coming out with different ideas, with different projects. But maybe you're not as grown as this one yet, but you're starting to come out. Yeah. And it's like starting again, but it's okay, because you're going to be this beautiful new tree. Yeah. So believe in the seeds of your projects, believe in you, right? And this process and these weeks, all kinds of things shift, all kinds of things will move, all kinds of things we understand as we go along, right? So this week she talks about the virtue trap. Yeah? An artist must have downtime to do nothing. Withdrawal is necessary. And as I've told you, this has always been my issue. Yeah. And in this poster that I found, it says many people caught in the virtue trap do not appear to be self-destructive to the casual eye. Bent on being good husbands, fathers, mothers, wives, teachers, whatever, they have constructed a false self that looks good to the world and meets with a lot of worldly approval. And that was me. Yeah? That was really me. Yeah. As I said, I didn't know who I was because I did everything to please other people so they'd like being with me. Yeah. So are you self-destructive? Are you caught in this virtue trap? And you need to ask yourselves, well, what do I need? What do I want? What do I like? And if I weren't selfish, what would I do? Because I was brought up, and many of you brought up, if you think of yourself, you're being selfish. You have to think of others first. But when you are okay, everything around you is, I hope you like all these little things I've been putting for you, the flowers and the bomb. I think it's like really cool. Yeah. So selfish, right? Afraid of being selfish, we lose ourselves and we become self-destructive. We fight to be good, generous, helpful. We give priority to others. Yeah. Actually, what we long for is to be left alone. And I think, right, really analyzing myself this week, I love being alone. And I think I love being alone because I don't know how to put limits when I'm with someone else. So it's easy for me to be alone. So this learning of putting limits when you're with people, or continue being yourself when you're with other people, is a challenge. Yeah. So false me who appears to the world with good looks and finds approval. Are you a destroyer of your true nature? And these are things that come up in the morning to work on. So when we start going through this week, well, it even stops us wanting to do the pages, and it wants us to stop us doing things because we're really going deep down inside. And as we go along, we're working on these different layers within ourselves. Yeah. And this is what we are letting go of. So the virtue trap quiz. And these, as you know, it's to do them as quick as possible. The biggest lack in my life is, the greatest joy in my life is, my largest time committed is. Right, so I was thinking, okay, the largest time committed is. And I'm going away for the weekend, right? And so I said I was going to give the session where I'm going over the weekend. So I was going to take my computer. So I said, no, well, now that I've given the session, I'm going to leave my computer. And I got this anxiety attack. You're going to go without your computer? No, take your computer with you. And now I've had this dialogue all morning as anxiety, and it's coming. I'm going to dare to leave my computer. And I hadn't realized, yeah. So as I said, I'm working on my things as well. How difficult it is for me to leave my computer, and I'm going away on a weekend. Yeah. What happens if I need it? What happens if something pops up? Well, just leave it. So I was realizing, where does my time go? Yeah. I am working, but I'm doing lots of other things on the computer, just checking here, there, tidying. And I waste so much time, yeah, on the computer. Anyway, my largest time committed is as I play more, I work, I feel guilty that I worry that if my dreams come true, my family will. I sabotage myself so people will. If I let myself feel it, I'm angry that one reason I get sad sometimes is, and what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Doing it quickly. When you see the answers, it's one reason I get sad sometimes is, oh, maybe you hadn't noticed, and writing that down and going over it and thinking of it. Yeah? So, forbidden joys, right? Forbidden joys: go dancing, carry a sketchbook, roller skate, buy new cowboy boots, streak your hair blonde, go on vacation, take flying lessons, move to a bigger place, direct a play, take life drawing class. So things that you weren't allowed to do, yeah, to do them, yeah. Or it's interesting. So there was an exercise of forbidden thing, but we'll go to that later because I found that really interesting, that exercise. And I wish. And just by writing, I wish, we're manifesting it and we create it, in different ways. Yeah. I wish, and just write. And above all, I wish. Oh gosh, and just by writing it, it's as if you're creating it. And it's so beautiful. So all these exercises are really beautiful, yeah, and they work on a subconscious level. So if for any reason you haven't finished your homework, please just do it, and don't do it perfectly. Just the first thing that comes to your mind, and don't judge yourself with whatever you write, because what is happening is you're getting to know yourself, right? So one exercise was, the reason I can't believe in a supportive God is, to write 5 things. And I had lots of reasons. Yeah. I was so angry with God. Like, I'm such a good person. Why do you make me go through these things? And so just realizing, writing them, you can allow yourself to see things differently. Yeah? So here it starts with a collage. Yeah. And we're going to be continue working on this as we go along, right? So in that collage, to write your 5 desires. Yeah? Now, this is so powerful. So, today it's not like before, there were hundreds of magazines everywhere, and you just cut things out and just stick them on a piece of paper, right? But now, what you can do is maybe cut out images and put them on your screen, put them together in a file, and then put it in your background screen. That's what I suggest to adapt it nowadays. So, the first time I took this course, yeah, remember I told you that I was writing my book and I hadn't finished it. And I did a collage, and there were hundreds of magazines then. This was in 2005. Yeah, so still loads of magazines. And I just saw something, and, I saw Carolina of Monaco standing on a podium. So I cut that out. I saw lots of beautiful places in India. So I cut that out. And I saw a famous writer with lots of books, and I just put it there. And then, we moved, whatever. And it comes out in the film The Secret when someone says the same thing, but it happened to me. And when I saw those images, well, I was giving talks behind podiums. I went to India and I had several books. Yeah. So when I just put them there, I just put them there, but on the subconscious mind, you're attracting it. So this is an important exercise. So try and find the way, or if you can print them and stick them on your door, stick them on the mirror, stick them in a place, and your subconscious mind is putting that as your goal. And it was amazing because I had forgotten I had done that collage. And when I saw it, I said, wow, everything in that collage came true. So 5 imaginary lives. We've done it several times. Have they changed? Are they the same? Have you noticed that you're doing anything regarding those alternative lives? And on this collage, add it. Yeah. So if you want to be a renowned writer, put a photo of a writer, put whatever, just add it. If you want to be an actress for soap operas, well, put a photo of someone in your collage. Yeah. So just add those things to your collage, right? So if you were 20 years old, what 5 adventures would you do or would you have done if you were very rich? These exercises, they seem so simple, but they're so powerful. And then it says add images. So if you want your car, this style, whatever, your Suzuki Jimny latest year, well, put it there. Yeah. Put the images of the things that you want. Yeah. Of when you were 20. Yeah. And then it comes to when you were 65, what postponed pleasure? So it's your ideal home, your whatever, ideal relationship. Yeah. And add those as well to your collage. And as I said, I think if you do a photo, put them in and put it on your screen, I think that would be perfect. Yeah. Now this is interesting. How are you mean to yourselves? Yeah. So positive, explicit helps allow it into our lives, and the negative helps us to exorcise it. Yeah. Sorry, I put that photo in Spanish. Yeah. So what things, yeah. So I noticed my daughter needed something. Of course, I'd go and spend a fortune, the jacket or the handbag or whatever, but I wouldn't do it for myself. Yeah. So, or maybe, oh, instead of going to get my feet done and my hand, I'll do it myself. But like, why? Why don't you just go and get it done? Yeah. So, but if someone else, my daughter, yeah, of course, and go here, go there, and get this. So, why are we mean to ourselves? How can we expect to receive if we don't receive for ourselves? Yeah? So, if we see money like an energy, and next week we're going into money, yeah. If we see it as an energy, oh, I don't need it. I need it for other people or other things. Or I don't need it. Well, then it's not going to come. Now, I want it because I want to buy this and I'm going to do this and I deserve it. And it's working on being worthy and deserving these things. And it's not being selfish. Yeah? So I want to have 10 things I would like to own that I don't have. And also add these images. I said, this collage is very powerful. Okay. Blockages. My favorite creative blockages. This morning I realized it's my computer. Yeah. And to me, separate from my computer this weekend is going to be my biggest challenge. I am going to leave it. And it's not easy for me. And I never thought it would be this way. I never even noticed it. So, what secondary gains? What is my payoff for staying blocked? What do I gain? This is so powerful. Yeah? Maybe I'm ill because I need a break. Maybe I don't have money because maybe I don't have a car because if I had a car, I'd always driving people around and doing things for everybody and coming here and there. So I don't want a car. Yeah, because I don't have to put a limit. So what do you gain? Yeah. And this is really interesting. Or you just observe, okay, I don't have this. Why don't I have this? What happens if I did have it? Okay. So just observing, what are you gaining by not having what you want? And you'll be surprised with the things that pop up. So as Audrey Hepburn, I said Catherine, but it's Audrey Hepburn. I love this woman. Nothing is impossible. The word itself says it. I'm possible. And I want you to remember this always because you are possible. Everything is possible. And then guilty. The person I blame for being blocked is, and it's so easy to point at someone, yeah, when it's really from within. It's the way, it's not, we are the problem. It's not the person, it's the way we react to that it bothers us. And it's what message are we getting and to let go of it and move on. Yeah. People who come to our lives are messengers for our inner growth. How have you been with synchronicities, eh? How have things been flowing? What surprises have suddenly popped up? Yeah. The future you is coming soon. Next exit very soon. Your artist date, please don't forget your artist date. And I would also like you to start doing mirror work. Yeah, you go to the mirror, say, I love you, I really love you. Then you say your name, Carmen, I really love you. Whatever happens, if you If you haven't done your morning pages, go to the mirror and say, "Oh, it's okay, Carmen. You haven't done your morning pages today, but I'm sure tomorrow you'll be able. It's okay. I love you. I really love you, Carmen. I really love you." Say it 3 times. Okay? So next week, we're already halfway. We're covering a sense of abundance, right? So there's this extra homework I'm giving you, okay? So this extra homework is because we're going into abundance, and it has to do with day 1, which is tomorrow. Those of you in Mexico, you spend 10,000 pesos. Those of you in the US, $1,000, in Costa Rica as well, and in the UK, pounds. Obviously, some will become millionaire before the others because it's not the same exchange. But basically, it's just to keep day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, right? So day 1, in your morning pages, you spend $1,000. Day 2, you spend 2,000. Day 3, 3,000. Day 4, and you spend it. You know what? There comes a time you don't know what to spend it on. Like, now what? Well, no, you have to learn to be abundant and connect to it. And on a subconscious level, it starts working. So, okay, now I'm going to hire people. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to delegate. Now I'm going to, yeah. So you end up realizing suddenly you do have someone you're paying to help you with this. And suddenly you do have this and you do have that, yeah, at different scales, right? So it's a beautiful exercise which helps you tune into abundance. So ideally, I'd like to do it for 30 days. Yeah? So we come back to our week. And most of you have been unbalanced this last week, and it's normal because things are coming up. And things are coming up, so we tend to avoid it. But I invite you to go back and to go within and work on these things. Right? So week 6, we're recovering a sense of abundance. I want you to have your collage. If you haven't done it, please just invent a way of putting it on the computer. If not, you can't put it on the back screen. Just do like a PowerPoint or a web, or you put lots of photos together. Just try and be creative, and maybe just have it on your screen and then open it up. But then, of course, I'm on my computer all day. Yeah? So that's why I'm saying on the computer. But you can do it anyway. Just be creative and start having your own collage. Now, this week that is coming, this week you're going to tackle a major creative block, which is money. You are asked to really look at your own ideas around God, money, and creative abundance. The essay will explore the ways in which your attitudes limit abundance and luxury in your current life. You will be introduced to counting, a blockbusting tool for clarity and right use of funds. This week, you may feel the latter. Okay? So we're going into God, luxury, accounting, natural abundance, and money madness. Okay? So let me stop sharing. So we're coming into a beautiful week, yeah, and abundance, or said prosperity in many ways, yeah. And I invite you. In fact, I'm going to also send you. There's an app called iSpending, which is free, and there you can write down every money, all the money that comes in, all the money that goes out, and then you'll have an idea of where your money is going out, where it's coming in from, yeah. And it's a really good app, which I'll recommend. So I'll send that to you as well now, because this week you'll be writing down what you're spending and what comes in. Okay, all right. Anyway, so I'm going to stop the recording unless anybody wants to ask me anything. And I hope you have a